Yeah, I get right to the racks. Then I make that shit back. Run up on me, get shot in the back.
It's your ability of the Scotch and the Mac, American. Yeah, got
more with the Queen.
Rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth. Operation London Bridge, how the Queen's funeral will work.
Yeah, this is interesting because this is all new to us and it's very educational in the sense that we're kind of learning what's going on. I mean, she was around, she ruled, she lived more than, she was around longer than 70 years, obviously, but she ruled for 70 years, 7 decades. I'm 67.
That's crazy, man. Let's hop right to it.
3 years before I was born.
Yeah, so we're gonna see how her funeral works, because I know it's gonna be a very big thing. Go check out our other video we did on what will happen when she dies. Now we're gonna do what will happen, like how her funeral will work. So let me change, subscribe, request, react. Follow me at JTV, follow Posture. That's what you're gonna say though?
No.
You have a hair in your face.
We're trying to learn as much as possible, so this is so educational for us. We really appreciate it. All you UKers out there, London, the Scottish, the Irish.
Yeah.
You guys teach us so
Wales guys.
Well, you guys, please teach me how to have a better accent.
Do we have any Wales subscribers in the comments? Let's have we're talking.
Like a blue whale?
For decades, this historic moment marking the death of Queen Elizabeth has been meticulously planned, almost entirely in secret.
Wow.
What we do know is that the next few days will be a showcase of tradition, ceremonial symbolism, and sombre reflection on one of the greatest figureheads of the modern age.
I was very young there.
Many of the protocols and ceremonies taking place are deeply rooted in history and signed off by Buckingham Palace or the Church of England. Over time, there have been several adjustments and refinements. Officially, this will be a 10-day affair that began the moment Her Majesty died. In keeping with protocol, the British Prime Minister was the first...
man. You know, they're covering live. There's thousands of people watching. It's a very big topic. It's a 10-day event, so it's actually crazy to think about, right? You didn't know that, right?
No, I didn't know that. And just to bring you up to speed, because I'm not going to mention in this video, I think her body has arrived in London as of today.
Yeah, so it was in Scotland. No, it's in London. So I guess it's like a trip they do to honor her.
Mm-hmm. Today's September 13th, 2022.
Yes, sir.
Ooh.
Her Majesty died. In keeping with protocol, the British Prime Minister was the first person contacted outside the palace. The official notice is said to have been delivered by the Queen's private secretary via secure phone lines in code, declaring London Bridge is down.
Wow.
The news was then shared with the Queen's representatives in the 14 other countries where she's been the head of state.
Yeah, we covered it.
Then the other 40 nations of the Commonwealth.
Damn.
On receiving official notice from the palace, British broadcasters appearing on camera changed into black clothing as a mark of respect.
Wow.
Okay.
The palace's notice to the public came with the simple act of footmen posting a black-edged notice just inside the gates of Buckingham Palace. That same message is echoed on the palace website, seen by millions.
Wow.
The symbolism continues. Officials place black armbands exactly 3¼ inches wide on their left arms.
Oh wow, we didn't know that.
Across the United Kingdom, flags on official buildings are flown at half-mast. The Church of England instructs parishes across the UK to ring church bells now and for the next 10 days in recognition of the death of their supreme
Well, it's
governor.
obvious,
Yeah.
Obviously, you see the incredible importance of this one person and of the monarchy and of the royal family, how impactful.
She is.
14 different countries, she's head of state. I'm so shocked by this. Like, as an American, I never even fathomed that or even try to process that. 14 countries that she's in charge of, right?
Wow.
And 40 commonwealths.
Damn.
Insane in the membrane.
Places
That's
in
a lot.
Africa, places in Asia, which is
That's a
India.
lot. That got me insane. I'm like, wow, I'm trying to process it.
No cap.
But those chimes will, for the most part, be muffled on every day of the mourning period, except for the day of the new monarch's proclamation. The rhythms of daily life, from the stock market to sporting fixtures, are being cancelled or closed
Even
as a
Premier League?
sign of respect.
Those are the comments.
A special session of Parliament commemorates the Queen's life and service. Confirmation of the Queen's death triggers another momentous chain of events. Prince Charles moves from being heir apparent to monarch. This is called the Accession. It's an entirely different operation codenamed Springtide.
Oh wow.
Although the official proclamation of his accession doesn't happen until tomorrow, the day ends with the new king addressing the nation in his first
covered that.
public act
Go check that out.
as head of state.
This is his first address. We just covered
He
that.
definitely did, yeah. Check it out. It's currently on JVTV. Trending.
One day after the Queen's death, flags are raised again to full mast. This is the day the new monarch is proclaimed. It involves an accession council formed in the Privy Council, plus officers and commissioners of the state and Commonwealth gathering at St James's Palace.
Okay.
They announced the death of the sovereign and signed an official proclamation declaring Charles the new king. After this, he takes the first of a series of oaths.
I think this happened already.
Yeah.
only comes later. For now, the proclamation is presented for the first time to the public outside
That was
St
the
James's.
last time that happened, so that was over 70 years ago. They're showing footage of
Black and white.
black and white, guys. Like, really just sink that in your head. Like,
I know. I wonder if anybody's alive that remembers that.
I doubt it.
70 years ago, so they would be 80 something.
Or at least not in
They
their
were like
90s.
10, yeah, they were like 10 or
Yeah.
15.
They probably do, because it's probably a big thing.
James's Palace, heralded by trumpeters of the Lifeguard. From a balcony overlooking Friary Court, the Garter King of Arms appears to proclaim the new king. With that, a 41 royal gun salute takes place at Hyde Park in London.
Damn.
That's a 21 round
Wow.
royal salute and an extra 20 because it's fired at a designated royal park. A carriage procession of heralds travels to the statue of Charles I at Trafalgar Square to repeat the proclamation. This is symbolic because this statue represents the official centre of London. This pageantry is repeated across the city and country. After the proclamation of the new king, MPs in Parliament swear an oath of allegiance. For the
What's
first
MPs?
time in decades,
Yeah, what's MPs?
Yeah, MP for us would be like military police, but I'm sure is something with the parliament. I know the P party stands for parliament.
Yeah, that's
I don't know what the M for. Let us know in the comments below, please, because you're
Nation.
educated. Want to be educated about this.
declare, long live the king.
Or
Behind the
But it
scenes,
was
there
long
are
live the
practicalities to take care of. Westminster Hall, next to Parliament, closes in preparation for a funeral ceremony on a rare scale.
they.
A service will be held at Edinburgh's St Giles Cathedral with members of the royal family in attendance.
I believe this
after
happened
which the
already.
king will meet
We're
with
on day 4
Scotland's
right
First
now?
Minister
As we speak.
Nicholas.
Is it day 4? Or.
I don't recall offhand.
Yeah. Let us in the comments.
It's been a couple days though.
Yeah.
Sturgeon at the Scottish Parliament. For the public, the greeting is evident everywhere. Television programming has taken on a more sombre, reflective tone. The BBC's red logo is replaced with a black version.
Wow.
Fewer comedies are shown. No satire is aired.
They.
On the morning of the third day after the Queen's death, Charles receives an official motion of condolence at Westminster Hall before continuing to tour the rest of the United Kingdom. In Scotland, the Queen's coffin will leave St Giles Cathedral and be transferred to the royal train.
Oh, so that happened today?
Travel slowly
Today's day 3?
overnight down the East Coast main line to London.
Yeah, so it's day 4.
I would love to take that train.
Yeah, right?
After the coffin arrives in London, it will be transported to Buckingham Palace
Yeah,
by
so
car.
day 4 happened already.
At
This is
this
where we're at.
moment, palace
Yeah,
staff
we're
who
at this
serve
right
the
now.
Queen are allowed to pay their respects in private. King Charles will travel to Northern Ireland to receive another message of condolence, this
wow.
one at Hillsborough Castle,
With the body
where
or
a service at
No.
St Anne's Cathedral in
Wednesday.
Belfast.
day 5?
The Queen's coffin will be placed onto a carriage at Buckingham Palace and led in a short procession down the Mall, through Horse Guards Parade in central London, past the Cenotaph and Big Ben to Westminster Hall. Here, the Queen's body lies in state on a catafalque, an ornamental platform draped in purple.
So funeral?
The royal orb, sceptre and imperial crown are placed on the casket.
Wow, it's beautiful.
King Charles, back from his tour of Scotland and Northern Ireland, leads family members in mourning at a memorial service. Soldiers made up of members of the Army, Air Force, Navy, Gurkhas and Beefeaters stand
What
guard.
is Gurkhas
as the
and Beefeaters? What is that? Never heard of that.
Never heard of it.
What's the difference between Beefeaters and Gurkhas?
was open to the
of
public.
Beefeaters. I haven't heard of Gurkhas though.
Yeah, that's how
And we've covered a lot of military stuff.
it's so crazy how she's like the most important person in Europe, right?
Yeah,
We say that the American president is the most important person in the world, but
Well, we say that as Americans, but
Yeah.
obviously the royal family, ain't nobody close to them. They're the top ones.
They're the top dogs.
I mean, yeah, 14 countries and 40 Commonwealths.
Because how was JFK's funeral like? Was it really a big thing? You weren't born yet, right?
Yeah, I was like a teenager back then, you know, 1965.
So was that a
rough
big?
year.
Was that a big thing?
It was a lot of sad times.
Yeah.
For 23 hours a day. During the single hour the hall is closed, a new wreath is placed on the coffin.
Day 6.
Many thousands of visitors are expected to line up to pay their respects to
Oh,
Her
wow.
Majesty, who lies in
Could applaud
state
that out
for
there.
3 days. Naturally, there are concerns of overcrowding, not just on public transport. The strain will also be seen on services providing accommodation, food, healthcare,
Oh, wow.
and policing.
The Bobbies.
The Bobbies.
The King's tour of the home nations concludes in Cardiff, where he receives another motion of condolence, this time from the Welsh Parliament.
So they take a train. I'm guessing it's just all trains. I know Europe has a bunch of trains. In America, we don't have that many trains. The only trains are like New York City.
We got Amtrak.
Yeah.
But nah, he probably on a private jet.
Oh, yeah,
Quick. He's
shit.
busy. He got to be here. He got to be there. And remember now, the Queen is no longer around to like kind of organize and run and make tough decisions, because there's always stuff like people complain about government all the time, but you got to understand how government works. There's so many decisions that are being done behind closed doors that you'll never know about. Like, you'll never know about something like a bomb or something being found that could have blew up 1 million people, because the government and people in charge of the government got to make those tough decisions and try to keep stuff private. And apparently the royal family is really good at keeping stuff tight, run a tight ship, you know?
Memorial service at Llandaff Cathedral. It's expected that the 10th day will be the culmination of the official mourning period. Before the funeral, the Queen's coffin will be cleaned and refreshed. The day of the funeral is designated a day of national mourning. Schools, the stock exchange and many businesses are closed as the whole country and much of the world come to a standstill.
Wow.
From Westminster Hall, the Queen's coffin is moved across the road to Westminster Abbey. She becomes the first monarch to have a funeral here since 1760.
1760.
The funeral is expected to begin at 11 a.m.
Why not Cathedral?
Yeah, why did that's Westminster Hall?
Yeah.
Yeah, why did they choose that, and who was the person in 1760? Please let us know if we want to become as informed and educated as possible
on this topic.
On this topic, yeah.
We're not ignorant Americans. Yeah.
Officiated by the Archbishop of Canterbury. There are about 2,000 invited mourners,
Oh, wow.
and a television audience expected to be
Oh my
in
God.
the billions. In keeping
have to
with
cover that.
tradition, the broadcast cameras inside are not permitted to show the royals' faces during prayers. After
Oh,
the ceremony, the coffin will be placed on the same funeral carriage that was used for 3 generations of kings before her, from her father to her great-grandfather. From here, the Queen's coffin is carried to its final resting place inside St George's Chapel in Windsor Castle, next to the tomb of her father, King George VI.
Where is that exactly in the UK?
This-
And also, do they have guards around that all year round? Maybe?
I'm pretty sure.
Because that's no joke. You can't have people just going in there and take the body or somewhere. You know, people are weird like that, you know?
Yeah.
This is the same chapel where
A lot of
Prince
odd
Philip's
humans.
funeral was held. His remains will be moved a short distance from the royal vault and placed beside hers to symbolically reunite them.
Oh, wow.
Her husband.
Parallel to all this, Prince William becomes Prince of Wales and heir
Oh,
apparent.
wow. How about
His
Harry?
children are next in
Oh,
line
yeah,
to
they
the
are.
throne by order of their birth, including Princess Charlotte. A vote by the Commonwealth
She has
in
no idea, right?
2010
It's like-
ensured she becomes the first princess in British history to retain her place in the line of succession and not overtaken because of her gender.
That's crazy.
All printed money, stamps, mailboxes, and police uniforms will slowly be replaced with the coat of arms of the new monarch and image of the king. The lyrics of the national anthem are
God
also
save the
adjusted
king.
to declare God save the king. This is likely the largest funeral arrangement undertaken in our lifetime.
Wow.
Between the multiple bank holidays, the state funeral, and related ceremonies, it'll cost British taxpayers billions of pounds. A grand tribute to the longest reigning monarch in British history.
She's great.
Yeah, great. It's okay.
Man, she's great. 70 years.
She might be the famous woman on the planet.
Definitely probably the most famous one.
Her, Oprah, right?
No, yeah, she's way more important than Oprah.
No, I'm saying famous. No, important and famous are two different things. There's many important people that are not famous.
Right.
Ooh.
That's a fact, Jack. Drop the knowledge out here. Thanks
Yes,
for tuning
sir.
in to Jerry TV, man.
It also comes with other royal family stuff you want to see, and we want to cover this whole day, all the days basically.
You say we play all day on this channel. Please subscribe.
Now.
Please.
We out here.
Hey, hit the block, catches that slipping, we spinning in that drop. Bullets Tyson biting, fuck, I look like I ain't got a box. Ain't sparing no nigga, he try me and I'ma pop his top.